Entiendo que si mañana es el
I
día
understand
apropiado
that
para
if tomorrow is the day for taking the final decision, that means that you consider that there's no possible way out through the United Nations because a majority does not support a war action. I would like to know, Mr. Blair, Mr. Bush, whether in that military offensive you count on many countries, whether it's going to be the UK and the US carrying out the military offensive. I understand from what Mr. Blair has said that you're counting on the UN for the reconstruction. Are you going to look for other countries through the United Nations? And for Mr. Aznar, what is Spain's participation in that military offensive in addition to your political support?
41, which was unanimously approved, that said Saddam Hussein would unconditionally disarm, and if he didn't, there would be serious consequences. The United Nations Security Council looked at the issue 4.5 months ago and voted unanimously to say, disarm immediately and unconditionally, and if you don't, there are going to be serious consequences. The world has spoken, and it did in a unified voice. Sorry.
The issue is very simply this, that we cannot have a situation where what happens through the United Nations, having agreed 1441, having said there will be serious consequences if he doesn't cooperate fully and unconditionally, what we cannot have is a situation where we simply go back for endless discussion. Now, we have provided the right diplomatic way through this, which is to lay down a clear ultimatum to Saddam: cooperate or face disarmament by force. And that is entirely within the logic, the letter, the spirit of 1441. And that is why, all the way through we have tried to provide a diplomatic solution. After all, we're 4.5 months since we passed Resolution 1441. We're now, 3 months on from the declaration that Saddam made on the 8th of December, that not a single person in the international community, not one, believes was an honest declaration of what he had. And yet 1441 said the first step of cooperation was to make an honest declaration. So when people say, have we exhausted all the diplomatic avenues? We've tried exhausting them. But understand from our perspective and from the perspective of the security of the world, we cannot simply go back to the Security Council for this discussion to be superseded by that discussion, to be superseded by another discussion. That's what's happened for 12 years. That's why he's still got the weapons of mass destruction. We have to come to the point of decision. And that really is what the next period of time is going to be about.
Well, I would like to say that this statement we're making today, as we've all said, is it's a last chance, one last attempt to reach the greatest possible consensus amongst ourselves. And I can assure all of you that we have all made enormous efforts and we're going to continue making these efforts in order to try to reach an agreement, to reach a solution. We have our own worry, our own responsibility to make UN resolutions be abided by. If the Security Council unanimously adopts a resolution 1441, giving one last opportunity to disarm to someone who has weapons of mass destruction, and we know he has used them, the Security Council cannot, 1 year after the other, wait for its resolutions to be implemented. It would be the best way to do away with it altogether. And it would be a good way to do away with all the United Nations credibility. And we honestly don't want that to happen. To me, there is no... you cannot have the same distance between illegality and impunity. And neither Saddam Hussein nor any other tyrant with weapons of mass destruction can set the rules for international law and the international community.